Welcome back, everybody. I'm Giles, and today we are going to dive into something that we've not talked a lot about on the channel before, and that's immersive experiences. Now, we've talked a lot about that from an audio point of view, but today we're going to transition to different senses. And instead of using your ears, these are going to be things that let you use your body, right? And you might be saying, what the heck is this? Well, I have a great guest that's going to tell us all about these things. So, everybody, please welcome Rafal. Did I get that right? Close enough?
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Woohoo!
Hello. Hi. Thank you
From
for having me.
Actronika. Yeah, welcome, sir.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
So I think maybe to kick things off, if you could tell everybody a little bit about who you are, and then we'll jump into the company and talk about what the vision is there and what you're trying to accomplish.
Sure. So, hello, everyone. I'm Rafal. I'm a CTO and co-founder of Actronika. So, I've been working in haptics for 10 years now. And I'm also an engineer, mechanical and robotic engineer by education. Yeah. I'm here today to tell you about what what haptic is and how this can improve your the bring immersion and new experiences to your life, and what the company that we founded, Actronika, is doing in order to accomplish that.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, so maybe to set the groundwork for people to give something for everybody to kind of stand on a base. Let's talk a little bit about haptics and define that so people understand what that really means.
Yeah, definitely. It's a some can find this can be a new term for some of the people that. But so yeah, so what haptic is a science of touch, and it has been more and more now popularized by companies that are bringing haptics to their products, like Apple. You can think about Taptic engine in Apple. Whenever you touch on the touch on the screen, you press on the button, you get this like clicky button-like sensation. This is exactly that. But haptics is more than that. So when you think about haptics, you have to think about kinesthetics. So whenever you push press on a surface, that's what your muscle, the information that you get from your muscles is about the hardness of the surface or softness. That's kinesthetics. The next would be temperature. Whenever you touch a surface, you instantaneously you'll be able to tell if it's cold or hot. So this is also a part of touch. And the third, and we believe the most important component, is vibrotactile. It's a part of haptics, so I'll try to make it clear. Vibrotactile is whenever you press or whenever you touch a surface and you slide your fingers on, you'll be able right away tell the quality of the surface you are touching. Is it made out of metal, leather, or wood? uh, Whenever you touch it, it's not necessarily where you know what are you touching, but once you get to slide your finger on it, that's when this becomes right away clear to your brain. I'm touching wood, I'm touching leather. And this is because of these small events that are happening underneath your fingers, and they create basically vibration. And these vibrations are being understood by your brain, and this is what vibrotactile means to us. And we, the company Actronika, is focusing on that aspect. So basically, we want to bring that quality of interacting with an object or interacting with anything actually to virtual interfaces, to what people call HMI, so human machine interface, and an interface actually.
That's okay, that seems like a exceedingly difficult proposition. So from my layman's point of view, when I think of haptics, I think of, I think, the kind of the pedestrian things that you just mentioned, right? So my cell phone, when it rings, it shakes, right? I can push a button, and there's really no button now, but it feels like there's a button, which is really cool. And then if you think about from a gaming perspective, which I think other people will be familiar with, you hold a controller, and if you're
Rumbles.
in a car game, you run over
Yeah, yeah,
something,
yeah.
and it shakes like a rumble controller. But
Exactly, exactly. And
what you're
this
describing, though, is much, much more involved than those kind of gross motions, right?
exactly, and this is sort of I don't want to use the word problem, but it's sort of a something we want to address with in our company, is that haptics can bring way more to your life than just that rumble you mentioned, or just buzzing of your phone in your pocket. And this is one of the problems. The quality of haptics so far, uh, due to the various reasons, the market, the mobile market that actually uh, brought us that buzzing feature in the pocket, in I believe that would be like late 90s Nokia.
Right.
And so this is one of the problems we want to address. We believe that haptics can bring more, but at the same time, you said it correctly. It is a complex task, and because touch is complex by definition. Your brain is actually a huge part of your brain is dedicated to actually understand what the skin tells you about your surrounding. If you compare this to vision and audition, is actually a huge part of your brain that does only touch. And because it's a relatively complex task, we have to address it and bring some sort of tools that can allow you to integrate this in a seamless and easy way, because otherwise everyone would have to become an expert in order to do something for haptics. And this will bring that, move the boundaries of limited immersive experiences, or the limitations of immersion that we have today, and the fidelity of these experiences. Because when you think about this, if you are able to combine vision, sound, and touch, it will definitely be something more than just vision and sound, which most of the experiences today, most of the stuff that we use are based only on these two.
Right. So, if you extrapolate this out, I'm trying to think through this myself now. So, the challenges aren't just, okay, how do you transmit those senses to the body, right? So you have to have some kind of interface that, whether it's gloves, or whatever it might be, a vest, and you have a piece of technology that you've built already to show off what you can do. We'll talk about that in a bit. But you have that challenge of, okay, what do you need to send that to your body, right? And temperature, the feeling, the texture, those things. But then on the other side too, you have to have some way to encode that in software, right? So that,
That's correct.
how do you, record the feeling of silk versus the feeling of rough wood or something, right? So yeah, that's, I can't even begin to fathom the difficulty and the things that you have to go through to build it. And I agree, you don't want to call it a problem, but it's a very challenging, kind of situation to solve for. Now, I think to demonstrate what you've done so far, you have released a product called Skinetic, and I think that was at CES earlier this year, correct? And a lot
Yes,
of a lot of
yes,
folks were very impressed by that. Maybe we can talk about that a little bit. And while you're telling us about it, I'll pull up the website so people can see what this looks like.
sure. So, yes, so product Skinetic is, as of today, it's a vest that is meant to be integrated in XR experiences, so extended reality experiences. We don't want to be limited only by VR. And the vest combines 20 vibrotactile points. So these are we call them actuators, but it's basically a spot in the vest that vibrates at a specific frequency. Your touch is sensitive to vibration up to 100 hertz. So we are taking all that chunk of possible frequencies and we use them in order to add that vibrotactile aspect that I mentioned before
Right.
to whatever is happening in that extended reality experience. If you think about VR goggles, that might be also speaking to more to some of people who are listening. These basically, whenever you go into the virtual reality, when you put your headset on, you'll be seeing things and you'll be hearing things, but you cannot interact with anything unless you have some sort of a glove. But so that's one aspect of it. You interacting with an object, or you have to have some sort of tracking system. But then if you want to send any information to the user, so you are being there and something is hitting you, or someone wants to tap on your shoulder, or you're being simply shot because you are playing a game, there is no way to know you'd actually got shot unless you know
Right.
your
You
avatar
hear to
is
feel it, right?
yeah. And with our product you can actually feel it, so it would create one more engaging experience, something that you would actually I can tell from my experience, whenever you get attacked by a zombie and you actually can feel it, you're away. You really don't want the zombie to touch you, because that's basically it's changing the paradigm of interacting, because you actually you feel like your brain consider this as you being touched. So this completely changes the way you behave in that reality. And you might think about gaming as a main focus, but today extended reality is way beyond that. There is augmented reality, mixed reality experiences. So all these can benefit from a device or like Skinetic on to actually bring that more immersion to the experience.
Yeah, no, so we were talking a little bit earlier about use cases, and, I've been while you're talking, I've been thinking through, well, where could, haptics be used in kind of everyday life to improve our awareness of our environment, to create, um, more immersive, environment? So, maybe, for example, in a vehicle, right, when you're
Yeah.
driving. So haptics could be embedded potentially in the steering wheel or in the seat, right? And
Yes,
it could give you notifications of, things that are around you potentially, right? So if someone's overtaking you, right, you could feel that coming potentially.
that's
Ha
correct.
have
That's
you looked
correct.
into that kind of thing?
Yes, and we actually this is a very interesting subject, and our company is also looking into that, because historically we actually started our company working on automotive subjects, uh, and we still do work on in that automotive space. So you mentioned the steering wheel. There is a dashboard that is, there is this whole trend of removing. Like I think this Tesla is a great example. You will end up with one big screen, and but you still have to keep your eyes on the road. You cannot
Mhm.
just admire this big screen sitting next to you. So you would like to do it without actually looking too much on it, and haptics can definitely help with that. You mentioned seats. This is also a huge subject at this point, because when you realize that if, in a couple of years from now, you most probably won't be driving anymore, because the car will be driving for you. It will be an autonomous car, and you might actually be on your phone or reading something or watching a movie. Seat becomes the only interface, the only you know contact interface that
Right.
you are still with the car. And what it means that if there is something that the car would like to tell you, it's either some sort of sound most probably annoying sound just in order for you to focus on what's going on, and still you might not be able to tell what to focus on. Or just having, some sort of a haptic feedback in the seat that can be way more discreet, and it can tell you from the information, you can actually be able to tell what's going on. If it is, like you mentioned, the car passing by, or there's something on the road in front of me, and I really have to take care of it. I really have to do look at on the road. So it's a huge space, and I believe that cars in within 5-10 years will change a lot, and haptics will be also a part of that. Let's say, I don't want to be tell revolution, but it will be a way different vehicle than we are driving today.
That's very interesting. And just to help bring this home for people that are watching the show, a lot of us use haptics for entertainment now, and we don't really recognize that's what it is. But for example, I know a lot of people use devices in home theater, right? That the little actuators that spin with low frequency sound to reinforce that in their seating, right? That's haptics, right? And that's
That's
up
that's
to
different.
I think they're doing up to 40 hertz on that. But it's really interesting that you said the body can distinguish up to 100 hertz. Is that
Thousand
right?
hertz.
A
Yeah,
thousand hertz.
yeah, almost 1,000 hertz. It's a couple of hundreds of hertz, and what you are saying, that spinning mass that it can vibrate,
Hmm.
they are very limited in a sense of what sort of frequency can be used. And because tactile information is quite rich in that content, the different frequencies being combined, you have to use a technology that is accurate and able to reproduce all these frequencies in order to bring fidelity and quality to these experiences, and that's what we do as well.
Yeah, so
We
let's talk a little bit more about Skinetic, right? And let me add this back. So you can see this gentleman here. Looks like he just got shot or hit or something, right? He's all like, "Oh,
Yeah,
I felt that." So what kind of devices do you have inside of this vest that create the sensation?
yeah,
So is it the same kind of thing that you would find in a cell phone, or and then how's it powered, right? Because everything needs electricity. Are the batteries inside of the vest? Is it
yeah,
tethered outside? I have so many
yeah.
questions.
Sure. Okay, so let's go one by one. You mentioned the actuator, so the the thing that vibrates actually. So what we use, it's sort of a loudspeaker, if you want.
Okay,
They are called voice call motors, VCMs, and these are basically a redesigned loudspeaker. The loudspeaker is made to produce vibration, but audible vibration. So we had to redesign these actuators in order to get to that lower end. And this is so that it fits within that, what we call
sure.
this haptic bandwidth, so the set of vibrations that are
Mm,
felt by the fingers. So that's it. You have to redesign the loudspeaker, and you have to be able to fit it within that limited space. You don't want to wear 20 huge loudspeakers on you. So we
sure.
had to do that, and so that's what we did. And then you mentioned, yeah, so this would work the same way. So there's electricity, so you have to wire them. So we have some wires put in the vest, put in a certain way so that it's still comfortable to wear. And so there's a piece of electronics that is sitting on your back in order to communicate with the game, or with the experience with the PC, or any source of information that we will take, that we will communicate with. And then so the communication is wireless.
Okay,
Today we have all the uh, available protocols, so Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, all these. This is a standard market standard that we implemented in the vest. So, and then there's a battery pack. We sort of make a few choices. Today, the the battery is external battery, you can. The reason for that is that we we feel that the clients that we want to work with, so not only the end customer users, but also professional clients like location-based entertainment and providers of experiences would like this battery to be easily swipeable. So they want to swap the battery whenever they need it, because the, they want to use the vest for long time. So we added that possibility to swipe the battery, so it's sitting there on your back again, and whenever you have no more electricity or no more battery, you can just swap it.
So I'm really looking forward to the day that I go to a silent rave. Are you familiar with what I'm talking about?
Yes, yes,
So the big
I am. Yeah,
dance clubs, and you go in and you just see a whole bunch of people with headphones on, and they're all dancing, and it's just you don't hear anything, right? I
yeah,
just imagine, having the headset, having the lights, but then having haptics, to really give you that immersive experience through your entire body. Because when you have the big subwoofers, right, you can feel that through your entire body, and you
yeah.
lose that in that kind of experience. So I think
Of
that'd be really
course.
good. And
Yeah, yeah.
then
Music is also a big subject that enhance experience of music. So the concerts that with not only VR, but let's say there are now even services that you can uh, take your VR goggles and see a concert.
mhm,
But it's great because actually most probably, well, it will be more accessible to way more people, and everywhere in the world you'll be able to experience a concert that you cannot attend. But at the same time, you won't be having that base you are talking
right,
about,
and we
and
want it. We want that bass.
exactly. Well, that's all you go for. That's
Yeah,
why
we
you would
want the
go to a
bass.
concert. And this is exactly what the vest can do for you. So it can bring that missing and synchronize with sound, and it can bring you the exact experience from a concert in your home. So music and cinema. Cinema is another example,
Mhm,
because today you have cinemas. You would go to a 4XD
right.
cinema where you would have these seats. They move around. They spray some water on you. So this is great. This is great. It feels great. But at the end, you can actually bring very similar experience to your home theater, basically with the vest or with the seat that you have in your living room. You can just enjoy a movie and have way more immersive experience watching the movie with wearing the vest, or having that integrated in an armchair. So yeah,
That makes a
definitely.
lot of sense. The one other really huge market that comes to mind for, this technology really is around accessibility for people that are visually or hearing impaired, right? So you can
Yes,
translate those inputs into physical input, right? And
that's
and
correct.
it can open up a whole different realm of exploring the world for folks. I think that's really
Yes,
cool.
that's correct. And the company, we are involved in many of these projects, because as a spin-off from the university, we have that still we are in our DNA, all these research projects that we are involved in, and we try to help the giving the access to the technology, and providing our engineering resources to advance these projects. And yes, so definitely haptics, in a sense, this was sort of that work on accessibility was a push to for researchers to work on the subjects in 50s and 60s.
It makes a lot of sense. From a more practical point of view, my buddy David, he says, I like the Skinetic, but will it fit me because I'm not exactly skinny? I think that it's a design where it kind of comes on the front and back, and then it's
That's
tethered on the sides.
so. I have to tell you a story. So we sort of make this was when we were designing the vest. We sort of said one size fits all, but we said, but what we mean by all, it's all, and we there were people who got involved in our project earlier, well, in that design phase, and we had people betting on with us that it won't fit them,
Sure.
and
Mhm.
we won. So far we won all the bets. So actually, because we did a lot of work on that aspect, let's make it accessible to everyone. So I'm just saying that I'm pretty sure it would fit you, it would fit everyone, and I can bet on that.
Awesome. So David, wherever you are, if you want
Yeah.
one, go to the Skinetic website. You can order. Everybody can order from the Skinetic website, right?
That's correct. That's
Yeah,
correct.
so and I'll have links down below. So if you're interested in trying one of these out, feel free to go put your order in, and I would love to hear how that goes. It got a lot of positive press at CES, so that would be very interesting. We just have a few minutes left here, and I think maybe let's close by talking about the future. And one, I'd like to hear, what your vision is for Actronika and where you're going, and then I want to know how close we are to Ready Player One.
Hmm.
Are you familiar
So
with that movie?
of course, go on. We
Yeah,
yeah, we really like that movie because
I bet.
it really shows where we want to be, and the gap is still there, but we are getting slowly but surely we are getting there, and I'm not sure when will be the time that we actually you know will be there eventually, but we work with people who are working on other aspects. I mentioned different aspects of haptics, and we eventually we would that ultimate goal would be to combine them all in one ultimate device that can
Mhm.
do thermal, that can do kinesthetics, they can do vibrotactile. There are people who are working on smell as well. So if you imagine that ultimate experience that you can combine all these in one device in one space and have them all at the same time, I think that's where we will get to that Ready Player One utopia, if you want.
Right.
I think it's yeah. I'm not sure about the time yet. We are working. We are involved with other haptic companies on standards now. We are working on standardization of that market that is still very fragmented, and I think this will definitely accelerate that it will be a huge leap for haptic people, and finally people who will be creating content, they be able to say, okay, my content will be available on all the platforms, because all the platforms that use the standard. So this is something we are focusing on a lot. So this is one of the things that Actronika is focusing on a lot. We also hear a lot about AI today, and
Mhm.
so we also work on because I mentioned at the beginning that designing haptics is relatively complex task, and we try with our software to make it as easy as possible, and we believe that AI will help a lot with that, meaning that all these design tasks and so basically will help us to make it even easier to implement and to generate new haptic sensation based on different inputs, so based on visual, based on sound. So this will be something, it will be a complementary to our software. So we will be working a lot on AI implementations and standards, so that we can share, if you want, that haptic space with all the haptic companies that are already out there, all the new companies that are going to come to that haptic space, and give all these tools to designers and people who want to create immersive experiences, and let them, just run with it and see what happens. And maybe eventually we'll get to that Ready Player One experience.
That's awesome. I think I'll close out with one last comment. So I was talking to my sons about this episode, and I was showing them the vest, and they were like, "Oh, that's really cool." And my 12-year-old said, "Dad, I'm writing a game for Roblox, and I don't know if you are familiar with that, but
My
it's a
son plays
yeah."
Roblox. Yeah.
He said, "Dad, if they had an interface for this in Roblox, they would sell 1 billion of them." I said, "Son, you're probably right about that." So, maybe
Is
that's
he
a good
looking for a job?
opportunity yeah, I'll let him know. I'll pass it on. He could be a haptics, game interface
Definitely
designer.
consultant.
He'll make more than me at 12. Okay, Raffle, thanks so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure learning about you and the company and haptics, the technology. It's really exciting. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was great to talk to you.
Absolutely. And then for everybody else out there, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell, do all those things that we YouTubers love. And with that, we'll close out, and I'll see you in the next video.